And the use of masks has also become widely encouraged and even mandatory in places right across North America, with public health and government officials stressing the importance of wearing a mask to stop the spread of COVID-19. However, the message doesn't seem to be resonating with some people who seem to just refuse to wear them. Let's dig into the psychology of this, if you will. Jay Van Bevel joins me now, Associate Professor of Psychology and Neuroscience at New York University. Great to have you on the program.
It's great to be here.
This has been a conversation we've been having over and over again, whether to mask or not to mask. And then now, of course, the recommendation is please put on your masks. But many people, Jay, are reluctant to do so. Why is that?
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons for that. I think the first reason is that originally there was mixed messaging about the value of masks. And as we've started to get more and more studies showing how beneficial they are, the recommendations have become more clear. The other issue is that some people find the recommendation or pressure to wear a mask a threat to their identity. So they feel as individuals that their autonomy is being threatened, or in some cases, for example, in the United States, not wearing a mask has become part of the identity of some Republicans. And so they've been told that it's a threat or a challenge to the president to wear a mask. And so they react against that.
Yeah, certainly in that threat to their freedom and their right. We've heard that a lot. My constitutional right is to be able to make that choice. However, though, the health guidelines are saying the choice we want you to make is the choice to be healthy and not to get sick. There's also that sense of that cultural bit of that cultural divide where we see that between some countries versus others. In China, for example, in India, for example, everyone's collectively looking to wear a mask. In Canada and the United States, with a more individualistic approach, obviously the push is much more difficult.
Yeah, so there's a big difference culturally as you go around the world. Some countries are more individualistic in nature, like the United States or Canada. Others are more collectivistic. And what you're seeing is that countries in Asia in particular have a culture of wearing masks. And what they've been able to do is be much more effective at stopping the spread because they were quickly adopting it. And so now you're seeing many of those countries open up much faster because it's safer for everybody.
Do you get a sense as well that, and as you mentioned there, confusion, when we're already dealing with this pandemic, there's a heightened emotional state that's involved in this as well. And to add another layer, if you will, literally, I guess, in this case, it creates a little more panic.
Yeah, so people are anxious and uncertain, and this is going against the norms of what we usually do to deal with things like the flu or other risks. And so the way to change that is to set new norms. There's lots of research showing that if you see all the members of your community or your family or your company that you work for wearing masks, you'll be more likely to do it. Even if you don't want to or don't trust the mask, you'll do it just to fit in. And so that's part of human nature. And so once we change the norm, it becomes easier and more automatic for people to do the right thing and wear a mask.
And also, of course, following, as we see leaders doing the same thing as well, sort of setting that precedent. Before I let you go, Jay, there's also that sort of underestimating the threat of COVID-19, what it poses perhaps for those who may not have experienced, and we don't want people to, but experienced getting ill from the virus, or even those that feel that, well, I'm safe, it's not going to happen to me, unlike how it's happened to someone else.
Yeah, so we have a number of studies now that I've done in collaboration with colleagues, where what we've found repeatedly is that people often realize there's a serious risk to COVID-19. The media has been good about getting that message out, but they don't think it applies to them. So they think they'll get away with things that won't infect them, but other people are likely to catch the virus. And so this is a problem because if you take riskier behaviors or you don't wear a mask, or you catch it and you don't show symptoms, but then you go to a family barbecue or you go into work, you put your family and friends and community at risk. This is a highly contagious virus. And so that underestimation of the real threat to yourself is part of the risk factor here.
Jay, are you wearing a mask when you go out?
Yeah, and especially inside where it's a very high risk where you're breathing in the same air. I wear a mask every time I'm inside. So I just came from the grocery store with my son and both of us wore masks and every single person in the grocery store was wearing a mask.
And that is excellent to hear. Jay Van Bevel, Associate Professor of Psychology and Neuroscience at New York University. Jay, appreciate the conversation. Thank you for this.
Thank you.